Hello. In this video, we will explore the topic of human trafficking and the nexus with casino gaming. Human trafficking is a serious crime and a grave violation of human rights. It is a form of modern-day slavery in which people are exploited for labor, sexual slavery, or commercial sex. Victims of human trafficking can be of any age, race, gender, or nationality, and they are often targeted because of their vulnerability. People who are trafficked may be promised a better life or job, but instead are forced or deceived into situations where they are exploited for someone else's benefit. Human trafficking can take many forms, including sex trafficking, labor trafficking, and organ trafficking. Sex trafficking involves the use of force, fraud, or coercion to lure individuals into the commercial sex trade. This can include prostitution, pornography, and other forms of sexual exploitation. Labor trafficking involves the use of force, fraud, or coercion to exploit individuals for labor or services. This can include domestic work, agriculture, construction, and manufacturing, among other industries. Organ trafficking involves the sale or trade of organs for transplantation, often involving individuals who are coerced or deceived into giving up their organs. Human trafficking can occur in a variety of settings, including in homes, on the streets, in factories, and in agriculture. It can also cross international borders, with people being trafficked from one country to another. There are many factors that contribute to the prevalence of human trafficking. Poverty, lack of education, and a lack of economic opportunities can make people more vulnerable to being trafficked. In some cases, people who are desperate to escape difficult circumstances may be lured by traffickers with promises of a better life. In other cases, people may be coerced or deceived into trafficking situations. Traffickers often use violence, threats, and manipulation to control their victims. They may also use drugs or alcohol to make their victims more pliable. Victims of human trafficking may be isolated from their families and communities and may not have access to help or support. They may also be afraid to seek help due to fear of retribution from their traffickers. The impact of human trafficking on victims can be severe and long-lasting. In addition to the physical and emotional abuse they may experience, victims may also face serious health problems as a result of their exploitation. They may also suffer from long-term psychological effects, such as trauma, depression, and anxiety. There are many organizations and resources available to help victims of human trafficking. These can include hotlines, shelters, and other support services. It is important for individuals to be aware of the signs of human trafficking and to know how to get help if they suspect that someone they know may be a victim. Governments and international organizations also play a role in addressing human trafficking. Many countries have laws in place to prosecute traffickers and to provide protection and support to victims. International organizations, such as the United Nations, have also worked to develop guidelines and protocols for addressing human trafficking. Casinos can be particularly vulnerable to human trafficking because they often attract large numbers of people from all over the world, including vulnerable individuals who may be seeking work or other opportunities. There are several ways in which human trafficking can occur in casinos. One common method is through the use of fraudulent job offers. Traffickers may lure individuals with promises of high-paying jobs at casinos, only to subject them to forced labor or sexual exploitation once they arrive. This can happen to people of all ages and backgrounds, although it is often targeted at individuals who are desperate for work or who are seeking a better life. Another way that human trafficking can occur in casinos is through the use of debt bondage. In this scenario, traffickers may offer individuals loans or other forms of financial assistance, only to require them to work off the debt through forced labor or sexual exploitation. This can be particularly insidious because it can be difficult for individuals to escape this type of situation, as they may feel obligated to pay off their debts. Human trafficking in casinos can also involve the exploitation of children. This can occur in a number of ways, such as through the use of child labor. the sale of children for sexual exploitation, or the use of children in illegal activities such as drug smuggling. Children may be particularly vulnerable to human trafficking in casinos because they may be more easily controlled and exploited than adults. There are several steps that can be taken to combat human trafficking in casinos. One important step is to educate casino employees and others in the industry about the signs of human trafficking and how to report it. This can include training on how to identify individuals who may be at risk of being exploited and how to report suspicious activity to the appropriate authorities. It is also important for casinos to have policies in place to prevent human trafficking. This can include conducting background checks on employees and contractors, implementing strict hiring practices, and maintaining a zero-tolerance policy for any form of exploitation or abuse. In addition to these measures, it is important for governments and law enforcement agencies to take a strong stance against human trafficking in casinos. This can involve increasing funding for law enforcement efforts, implementing stricter laws and penalties for traffickers, and providing support and resources for victims of human trafficking. Overall, human trafficking is a complex and multifaceted issue that requires the efforts of governments, law enforcement agencies, and the private sector to address. By taking steps to prevent and combat human trafficking in casinos, we can help to protect vulnerable individuals and create a safer and more just society for all.